Everyone, this is Luminous coming at you with yet another Pro Dota commentary, and we're back to the ADC today, Asian Dota Championship, with the game between LGD.sGty versus Roccat. This game is recommended by Ian James Barnett, so it should be a very good game. And I'm gonna just kind of go through the quick picks and bans very quickly. We do have Windrunner being first ban, followed by Doombringer Batrider being second ban by LGD, which is sort of strange, but considering that Roccat does have a very good Batrider player, maybe LGD did do their homework, and looks like because of the Batrider ban, they have allowed Roccat to pick up what I think is one of the best hero in this version, which is the Pugna. We do have LGD following up with the Vengeful Sphere and the Alchemist. Is very good first two picks, right off the gate. You have two AoE intensive hero, AoE minus armor hero, so it's gonna make Roccat think a little bit in terms of how they're gonna counter pick. It looks like they're gonna go a little bit more defensive with the Fishers. Generally, it's gonna be very hard to push against this lane. And this lineup, excuse me, Pugna and Fisher, and most, for a certain extent, Crystal Maiden, which does have a pretty large cast range on her Nova Blast. So, you know, Scourge right now is a very defensive team. And then fairly standard bans coming up, we do have the Stormster, which is pretty much geared towards YYF, which does have a insane Storm pick. Of course, Broodmother and Enigma, fairly standard bans. Nothing too out of the ordinary. So far, we haven't seen any really hero pick for ZSMJ yet, which I'm wondering what he'll play. I did see ZSMJ play Alchemist before, but to me he's more of an agility hero player. I mean, he could play the Pug, he could play the Alchemist and Sven, but really whenever he plays agility, like, that's when things happen. You know, the 720 creep kills with Gorgon, 7-minute relic with PL, and you know, his Drow Ranger is very good as well. So it's those agility picks. It looks like Roccat is going to go for the Drow Ranger pick. Very odd. I mean, Drow Ranger doesn't really scale well, or not scale well, work well with hero like Pugna. You probably want more AoE burst kind of hero. I'm not too sure why he went for Drow Ranger and Pugna. Like, those two heroes just doesn't, like, you decrep and okay. Meanwhile, in the Sentinel, right, they do have kind of a better synergy. I mean, Darkseer, that kind of does combo with everyone. It looks like we do have a Clock. Wow, very interesting picks coming from both teams here. It looks like I'm going to pause and talk about a little bit. Now, the Clock was picked before the Sniper. So, I mean, Clock in itself does pretty well against Sniper if you could kind of get in his face and start owning him. I'm not too sure what the Clock pick is about. It does give them a really long range in terms of when it comes to initiation, especially in combination of that Earthshaker dagger. If the Clock could, you know, trap maybe one or two heroes into that cog, Earthshaker just go crazy within that as well. And of course, it does really help out in terms of setting up the Nether Blast, Nova, and Crystal Maiden ulti as well. And it gets silent from the Drow Ranger. So if everything goes right, Roccat can lay down a lot of AoE hurt. Meanwhile, on the Sentinel, they do have more of AoE on their own. They do have, of course, the AoE minus armor like I talked about. Darkseer Vacuum into the Acid Spray plus Sharp Note on the Sniper can give them a great advantage in terms of AoE team fight, but that requires a little bit more of kind of better team play, if you will. Sniper pick is not too bad in terms of taking that Nether ward from the Pugna as well. It depends where Pugna is going to put down his ward, but you know, 810 range is nothing to laugh at on the Sniper. It looks like ZSMJ is going to be playing on the Sniper, barring some crazy things from happening, and I'm glad that he is going to be playing an agility hero. I don't think any team has a better kind of picks. Sentinel does have, you know, not CM. They do have Venge and Witch Doctor, but Scourge does have Pugna and CM to kind of counteract in terms of having the higher power picks. So it looks like we are going to see a tri-lane bottom. Yeah, we are going to see a tri-lane bottom with the Sniper. Well, Sniper might go mid, but generally we do see ZSMJ going to a side lane. Looks like YYF is going to be on the Alchemist, and he is probably going to go mid. Ben's on the Witch Doctor, CH on the Venge, and 830 on the Darkseer, which, by the way, 830 is a new addition to LGD. If you haven't been following the Chinese drama a little bit, LGD has literally kicked out one of the support player, which is GX. And 830 coming from the formerly disbanded, I want to say CN, I'm not too sure, CH, City Hunters. There you go, City Hunters. And now he's from LGD. And I believe that 830 is a better player, but considering that he hasn't been practicing with LGD, I'm not too sure how that's gonna go out. Looks like we're gonna see the traditional LGD Darkseer, the jungling heroes. By jungling, I mean he's gonna jungle for the first two levels, before he'll pick up a big item and then he'll port top. And considering this gear that he has won, he's probably gonna go for a bottle first. If he has a Sobi mask, I would think he would go for a Soul Ring first instead. But looks like bottle is not too bad. I probably prefer the Soul Ring a little bit more, but we'll see how that works out. Looking at the early observer wards being placed down, very defensive wards from the Scourge. I'm not too sure what this ward is all about. Like it'll see across this ledge, and it's gonna see Witch Doctor coming in right now. But I don't think that's gonna do too much of anything. But so far, we do see Drow Ranger being played by LK on the top. She's getting absolutely free farm. Ping check. Everyone low, very low ping except ZSMJ with 73, but that's not too bad. We do see LB with the Crystal Maiden. Earthshaker played by Iofi, DJ on the Oblivion, and who's playing the Clockwork? Clockwork is being played by TNK. So this Clockwork is gonna have a nightmare on this bottom lane because he is just like he's a melee hero in a long lane. And considering that this Venge is going to pop around and just mess him up. Now, the Clockwork does have his rockets, so at the very least, he could get a couple of creep kills with very well-timed rockets. And he's going to try to come in to steal a little bit of EXP, and looks like he did get a single creep. This Venge should do a good job in terms of keeping him away. But you can't ask for everything. As mid lane, we do see the Alchemist versus the Pugna with the Earthshaker support. I have to give the advantage to the Pugna as we see him a 6-4 CS compared to 3-1 CS on the Alchemist. Pugna will get the advantage in the lane in the first at least 3 or 4 levels. And then Alchemist is going to come right back with a highly skilled level of Acid Spray. Once that Acid Spray gets level 3 or level 4, it's going to hurt really much. And consider when Alchemist picks up his level 6, he has really much kind of won the lane just by doing that, because really between his heal and probably he's going to pick up a bottle, there's really no way you could remove him from the lane. And we do see the Darkseer still jungling away. He's trying to pick up a bottle, but meanwhile, Drow Ranger is having free farm. She's sitting at 7 creeps per minute. That is 14 and 9 at this point, and she's just basically grabbing every single creep kill. And we should see the CM maybe consider going to the bot lane a little bit, because right now she's just basically taking EXP from the Drow Ranger. And Drow Ranger is she's really fine on her own. Even when the Darkseer teleports back, there's really no way that the Darkseer could handle against the Drow Ranger. But looking at the bottom lane, ZSMJ not farming too terribly bad himself. He is at 14 and 6, gonna pick up a Basil Ring. There you go, and a Boots of Speed, so really well farmed here. And looking at Clockwork, he is level 2 at this point, so has probably picked up Battery Assault in combination of his Rocket Flare. But I don't think he's going to be too effective, at least in the early portion of the game, considering that Clockwork is one of those heroes that does need quite a bit of levels. He really needs all 3 of his skills. Need Battery Assault, need that Rocket Flare, and also need Cogs. The broke back cogs to be truly effective. And of course the hook shot wouldn't be bad either, but considering that he's barely level 2, almost 4 minutes in, and ZSMJ is at level 4 at this point, so yeah, the lane is not going too well for him. Meanwhile, do you see Darkseer actually going up top? He does have a bottle, yeah, so he looks like he was farming that bottle first, and it's going to be pulling some neutral. See him jacking a couple of creep kills. I think she got 1 or 2 there, so that's pretty crucial there. Considering checking the farm on the Drow Ranger at 19 and 12, not doing too bad. In the mid lane, we do see 10 and 2 on the Alchemist, farming too terribly bad compared to the Pugna at 20 and 9. So mostly just farming, a lot of farming on both sides of the game, and I don't think there's going to be high action. Maybe. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any high action until that Clockwork gets a couple level, until Witch Doctor and Venge get a couple level, because we don't see too terribly good of ganking heroes here on either team, at least not without their levels here. So this Clockwork is starting to be a little bit ambitious, sticking very near the creeps. It looks like he is going to pick up a buttload of experience as these creeps going to hit to a tower. And the ping check here, fairly good pings from everyone. It looks like the LGT team is going to be pushing, and you could tell this by the basal ring being turned on, Terror being casted just on the creep waves, and of course Sharpno is going to be casted. Sharpno does damage tower. As we see Cask, no Cask just scaring him away, and this clock is just like, oh my god. He's like typing FML right now. Not having a good game. Just based on the LGD pressure being, and it looks like, I mean, another Sharpno is going to be cast, and this tower is going to go down for sure here. This clock should really be careful because there's many stuns on the LGD side, and if he's not really careful, they could really pick up the tower. And it looks like LGD CH has picked up a tower. A little bit unfortunate for ZSMJ not getting that tower. And looking at the top lane, let me see how Drow Ranger is farming. Drow Rangers at 30 and 13 and 5 minutes in, 6 a minute, not too terribly bad, farming extremely well. Looks like this clock is going to finally pick up a couple of levels. While mid lane, we do see YYF busting out those nukes, and he does have his ultimate and a bottle. Meanwhile, we do see Initiation going to clock here. We do see Cass, and then Magic Missile Terror is going to be up. Let's see, ZSMJ is going to get the first blood, so that is huge. Not getting a tower, not too terribly bad, but getting that first blood kill is going to be huge. As we see Witch Doctor roaming around, is going to try to get the 6-minute rune. A little bit unfortunate. Meanwhile, we do have the Alchemist getting it instead. Alchemist is going to find himself a haste rune, which is going to help out very much so. Let's see if he's going to pop it right now and go for the Pugna. No, he's not. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, we do see ZSMJ still going on that tower. He is going to use a self. And both of these guys are getting pretty much free farm. I'm talking about Sniper and the Drow Ranger, which makes me think this is probably going to shape up to be an intense late game carry. And when you talk about late game carry, ZSMJ's got to probably be one of the best candidate in terms of having, I don't know, ZSMJ is just one of those players that could find creeps absolutely out of nowhere. Like he'll be like 0 and 3, and next 10 minutes he'll come out with like a Radiance or something. But looks like this oh no, this Clockwork is gonna be dead. It's gonna die to Assassinate. Yeah, it looks like Assassinate is gonna give ZSMJ a 2-0 strat, 2-0 count. And meanwhile in the top lane, as they're doing that, we do see Drow Ranger picking up the first tower, 40 Scourge, and she is at 45 and 16, my god, and a tower count. So she does have a Power Tread's agility. I'm not too sure what this Poor Man Shield is about. She definitely didn't need that in lane because there was really no one in her lane. I would think that skipping that Poor Man Shield altogether would have been a little bit better, and just going for that early home would help out a lot as well. Because, I mean, that 10 damage block is not too much of anything. The +6 agility is going to be pale in comparison when she gets, you know, +10 from her ult anyways. So, just not too sure what that one's about. But checking the farm on that Pugna, he's sitting at 39-14. And I think Pugna is going to be a beast in this game, considering that a lot of Sentinel heroes are kind of somewhat mana dependent, right? Once he drops down his Plague Ward, is going to do a lot of damage. As we see, kind of a big skirmish going here. Sniper is actually going to mid lane here. I think YY should actually take his time to go to bot lane at this point. The creep wave is going to be close to his tower, and he could really just take his careful time to last hit under that tower. And I'm not too sure what the LGD's plan is right now. They don't really have an early pushing strat. When it comes to late game, I think Drow Ranger might be a little bit better, considering that she does have an AoE silence, and she does have, you know, 3,000 damage. And it looks like they're gonna go for, oh no, canceling that Fisher. I think Sentinel gotta be careful mid. They do have a pretty good defensive squad in terms of having Tier and then Sharpno and all that, but keep in mind that Sniper is very low HP, 800. Almost 900 HP this one. I would actually like to see ZSMJ switching this to the agility treads. Nice defensive Fisher here, but is there Assassinate here? Assassinate is not necessary, as ZSMJ missing the first, and then finally missing a last hit on the hero. So far, we do see 3-0 head count in the favor of Sentinel at this point, but that doesn't really tell the tale as we see the Drow Ranger continue free farm. She does have her Helm and Iron Will right now. Probably going to pick up the Dominator, go for the Yasha, back to the BKB, and then finish the Manta. That is the very standard Drow Ranger build, and she's really grabbing every single creep heal minus that one.